Hello there everyone and welcome back to Home Media Reviews. This time around we're covering the first ever Star Wars spin-off film, Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. Let's not waste any time, let's go ahead and transition into the history section of Rogue One. So Rogue One first hit theaters on December 16th, 2016. And if you'll excuse me for just a moment, I have to make a reference to another film before we move on here. Mission Report, December 16th, 1991. If anyone gets that reference, put it down in the comments and you'll get a heart from me. And I remember the hype for Rogue One being pretty much as high as it was for The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens had the novelty of being the first Star Wars film in theaters in a long time if you didn't count the Clone Wars film, which a lot of people didn't. And Rogue One also had the novelty of being the very first Star Wars spin-off film. Plus, we were back in the original trilogy era. It was just a fun time all around whenever Rogue One first hit theater screens. Then, around the same time that The Force Awakens hit Blu-ray, Rogue One hit Blu-ray, April 4th, 2017. We, of course, got a standard Blu-ray/DVD combo pack, and then just a standard DVD version. Strangely enough, though, the 3D Blu-ray was not released on its own. It was a retailer exclusive. Best Buy, of course, had a steelbook that included the 3D Blu-ray disc. There was a Target exclusive, which I think is the best out of all of them. It included swappable covers with separate characters and a huge package with a slipcover and all of this other stuff. And the 3D Blu-ray, you could have also gotten that with the Target exclusive version of Rogue One. But that's not the only exclusive content you could have gotten through that. You could have also got 2 exclusive featurettes on a separate DVD disc from Target. There was a Walmart exclusive, like with The Force Awakens. It had a droid on the front. This time around it was K2SO. And it came with another Star Wars Connections disc piece. There was also another pre-order lithograph set, which was available through the Disney Store, although I don't have a photo of that. And sometime in December of 2017, Rogue One was a part of those holiday reissues. This one also included K2SO on the cover, and it was in that same style as The Force Awakens and all the other Star Wars films that were released at the time with that artwork. This had both a Blu-ray/DVD and just a standard DVD version. Only have a photo of the Blu-ray here. This also came with a little DVD packaged in of Forces of Destiny, which, if you recall from last week's HMR on The Force Awakens, Forces of Destiny is just a series of shorts. I really don't know what they're about, still have not seen them, and I don't plan on seeing them anytime soon. Then, in September of 2019, there was a Blu-ray reissue in that same poster art style as The Force Awakens was, as well as the prequels and original trilogy. And again, I like this poster. It's really nice with the cool blue on the front, and I just really like how it looks. There was a Blu-ray only version and a standard DVD version available. So that's it for the history section. Let's go ahead and move on to the close-up section of Rogue One. Alrighty everybody, here's your close-up look at Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, the first of the official Star Wars spin-offs. Now, unlike last week, we do not have 2 copies to look at this week. We only have 1, but it is a retailer exclusive. This is the Target exclusive version of Rogue One. Blu-ray plus Blu-ray 3D plus DVD plus digital HD up there at the top. Rogue One: A Star Wars Story at the bottom. Collectible packaging with 5 interchangeable covers and exclusive content. And we'll take a look at the interchangeable covers later. Here's the side. Rogue One: A Star Wars Story with Death Star blueprints. The back. Again, Blu-ray plus Blu-ray 3D plus DVD plus digital HD. A breakdown of the Blu-ray bonus features up there. Plus your exclusive content listed there. Spectacular looking thrill ride. Bunch of character shots from the film, with Jen Erso looming over the blurb about the film. An explanation of what the digital HD is, works with iTunes. Company splurge down there at the bottom. I forget what I usually say. What do I say? Legalese and whatnot down there at the bottom with your rating and whatnot. And your barcode. Surprisingly enough, it's not on the top. As with these exclusives, this is just a little piece that goes on top of the Blu-ray itself. It's like with steelbooks and such. It's not a fake back, it's a real back, but it's supposed to come off. So now that we have that off, here's what it looks like without that. You still have the Rogue One: A Star Wars Story out there at the top. Side is still the same. The other side, in case you're wondering, is also the same. But the back now features more of those Death Star blueprints. So this exclusive version of Rogue One is pretty amazing. This is one of the reasons why I wanted it, is because of its packaging here. It's nice and large. Now if we take this slipcover off, nice clear slipcover with all the Death Star blueprints on it, put that down there. There's the front again, still have Rogue One up there at the top. But now you can see more of the border around Krennic and the Death Troopers there. A little bit of a different side. The back is just black. Here's where your interchangeable covers are. You pull these art cards out and look, there's nothing on the front now. So here are your interchangeable covers. You've got Krennic and Death Troopers, Jyn Erso, Cassian and K2SO, and the Jedi guy, can't remember what his name is, blind guy, I like to call him. The pilot, I'm a pilot! Bodhi Rook and Saw Gerrera. And then back to Krennic and the Death Troopers. So you can basically change these out for any cover that you want. I like having it as Krennic and the Death Troopers because they are my favorite characters from the film. Not that they have much character. There aren't many characters in this that have a lot of character. For example, Bodhi is a pilot. That's his one character trait. But I like having him there because I think Krennic's awesome and the Death Troopers are awesome. So sue me if you don't like that cover change, or don't do that. That's bad. If we open this up a little bit here, got some Death Troopers walking the shores of Scarif. The shores of Scarif with some Stormtroopers on it. Open it up again. Oh, we're getting to some discs now. And there are Rebel friends rushing the... Oh, the thing wants to close. Rushing the beaches of Scarif and open it up again. More discs. So, let me take this behind here and we'll look at each disc individually, because there are a lot of discs in this set. Here's your first disc. This is your film disc here. You can see up there by the Lucasfilm logo, it does say feature film on there. Okay, there we go. It does say feature film under there. That's how you know it's the film disc, and you've got Stormtroopers waiting in the waters of Scarif. Behind the film disc, if you saw, the 3D disc with Darth Vader there. Beautiful artwork on that disc. This was another selling point of the Target exclusive. This was one of the only places you could get the 3D disc of this. You could not get it anywhere else except in the Best Buy exclusive Steelbook, which I do not have. This is your bonus content disc. Got director Gareth Edwards filming Felicity Jones or Jyn Erso there. Underneath that, you have your standard DVD disc. And that fifth disc is another exclusive to Target. This is your exclusive bonus content DVD disc. It's just a gray disc with exclusive bonus content right there. If you recall, last week, well, before I talk about that, let me show you the artwork on the inside of this. It's just Death Troopers waiting throughout the water. It forms one continuous image. So while I put these discs away, let me talk to you about the exclusive bonus content you could only get at Target. If you recall last week with The Force Awakens, you got 2 exclusive featurettes that were redeemable only through, I believe it was called Disney Movies Anywhere. That was before it became Movies Anywhere. You can only get those featurettes on that service if you bought The Force Awakens from Target. You got, your copy code slip and you could redeem it for those featurettes. For Rogue One and for next week, for The Last Jedi, they took a different approach. They put the 2 exclusive featurettes on a physical disc, which I personally like better because I know I'll always have those featurettes. If Movies Anywhere goes under in the next couple of years, I lose those featurettes. Okay, so that pretty much concludes your close-up on Rogue One. Once again, only copy to look at, but I think it's the best copy. I like this more than the Steelbook. That's surprising because I really like Steelbooks, but I think this has more going for it than the Steelbook does. So let's go ahead and transition into our menu tour for Rogue One. like last week, no 3D menu tour because I don't have a 3D player. Okay, everyone, here we are for our menu tours of the Rogue One Target exclusive set. There it is right there for your viewing pleasure. We're starting off with the Blu-ray this time around because I don't want to look at muted colors and really bad lines and edges on characters' faces. So, play, scene selection, and setup, very similar to how the Force Awakens Blu-ray was set up, except it's more dynamic. It's not in one location. You're getting flashes of the Rogue One characters throughout this menu. So scene selection, again, very similar to how the Force Awakens was set up. We have titles for each and every scene and whatnot, like Holy City Ambush, Let Them Pass, Saw's Catacombs, Galen's Message, all that good stuff. And we also have the counter. The counter is back to let us know where we are in the film. I really like that. I think I mentioned that last week. Then our final scene is just end credits, but the final scene before that is Hope, and that's when Darth Vader kills a bunch of people in, spoiler alert, the best scene of the movie. And then for setup, languages and subtitles, we have a 7.1 English mix, 5.1 French and 5.1 Spanish mixes. And for subtitles, English, French, and Spanish, nothing special there. So, I'm feeling good about Blu-rays right now. Let's go ahead and look at the bonus features Blu-ray. Why not? And here we are for the bonus features menu. Yeah, it hasn't changed much. It's the same setup and whatnot, but we have bonus features and subtitles down there at the bottom for our options. Subtitles. Is Portuguese back? It is! It is! We can watch the bonus features in Portuguese. I don't know why I like that. It's so weird. Bonus features include the stories, rogue connections, and info. Oh, wait a minute. The stories... Okay, yeah. These are like featurettes that run together like a documentary if you choose to play them all. A Rogue Idea, Jin the Rebel, Cassian the Spy, K2SO, The Droid, Baze and Chirrut, Guardians of the Wills, Bodhi and Saw, The Pilot and the Revolutionary, The Empire, Visions of Hope, The Look of Rogue One, The Princess and the Governor, and Epilogue, The Story Continues. Basically, every character here gets their own little featurette, and I'm not sure why, because no character in this movie has a ton of character. Rogue Connections. Yeah, I shouldn't have clicked that. This is like a documentary type thing talking about, hey man, this kind of stuff connects to other things in the Star Wars universe. Because it wouldn't be Star Wars if we didn't reference other things that happened. So yeah, not a ton of bonus content, not as much as on Force Awakens, but a decent amount. Yikes! Look at those colors. Yeah, not good. Just looks blurry and washed out. I'll say this once, I'll say it again. I don't like DVD's picture quality in any way, shape, or form. I don't know how people can stand it, because I certainly can't. Not on a screen this big. Well, we have play, scene selection, and setup. However, DVDs are, of course, different as they have their own little screens for the different menus. So we've got scene selection here. Again, the same scenes as on the Blu-ray, again, with all of the same titles and whatnot. We're not going to look at all of them here. Setup, I assume there are the same languages and whatnot, except it's now in a 5.1 mix and not a 7.1 because DVD is piss and can't handle that. Subtitles are pretty much the same. Yeah, English, Spanish, and French. No Portuguese, no Portuguese. How dare they not? How dare they not include Portuguese? So now let's go ahead and look at that special exclusive bonus discs menu that you only get at Target. Okay, I've got to do this quick because my camera battery is dying. Here's our bonus features, or bonus disc menu. No moving images or anything, it's just a standard menu, but story selections, play all stories, and subtitles. When did this turn into a Thomas and Friends release, you know, with stories and whatnot? Story selections. And these are our two bonus featurettes, Inside the Creature Shop and Digital Storytelling. Now, you can watch them just by themselves, or if you go back to the main menu, you can select Play All Stories, and you can watch them in one continuous motion. Subtitles, no Portuguese, but I have no idea what that is. Some kind of symbols. I'm going to stop before I offend some very small ethnic minority here on the internet. So that's it for this menu tour. Let's go ahead and head on back and answer the 5 main questions as always. Alright, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions as always. Number 1. where can you pick this product up? You can still find Rogue One on store shelves. Surprisingly enough, you can still find standard Blu-ray / DVD copies of Rogue One on store shelves. Not even the standard Blu-ray that came out in September of 2019. You can find the original Blu-ray from 2017 still on store shelves. So, you know, check your local Walmarts, Target, well, not Walmart actually, Targets and Best Buys more than likely will have it. Best Buy, you're more than likely to find the older Blu-ray. Target, you're more than likely to find the new Blu-ray. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? I can answer yes, again, because of the 2019 recent reissue. So yes, Rogue One is still out on store shelves, still being printed today. Number 3, should you pick this product up? Rogue One is an interesting one, because to me, this is the worst of the Disney-era Star Wars films. Not to say it's bad, it's just not as good as all the others, in my opinion. And out of the 2 spin-offs, this and Solo, I definitely like Solo more than this. Rogue One is an interesting beast because when it first came out, I loved it. I was a huge fan of Rogue One when it first came out, but after watching it a few more times and watching it this time for this review, it's clear to me that the problems with this film are because of its production. This was a botched movie. If you don't know, Rogue One had a lot of production problems. Gareth Edwards was apparently barred from the editing room. He was not allowed to even touch the final cut. I'm pretty sure the entire climax was reshot because of what you see in trailers and whatnot. This originally had a completely different climax. I know there's one scene in particular in trailers that I was waiting for in the theater. It's the scene towards the end of the film where Jen is up on the communications tower and she has to reset antenna alignment as the computer is yelling at her to do so. She runs out onto this balcony thing where the control panel is, and in the trailer, as she's walking to that control panel, a TIE fighter swoops up in front of her, and it looks like she's going to fight a frickin' TIE fighter, which would have been awesome. And as I'm watching this in the theater, I'm thinking, all right, here's where Jen meets a TIE fighter, here's where Jen meets a TIE fighter. She goes to the panel, resets the dish, never meets the TIE fighter. That was completely cut. And I was kind of bummed out by that, because I was like, oh, I was kind of looking forward to watching her fight a TIE fighter. As it stands, though, the climax we got is the best part of the film, by far. This has an amazing third act. It's so cool to see, like, original trilogy X-Wings and TIE fighters and whatnot fighting over this planet that looks like I would want to go on vacation. I mean, Scarif is, like, awesome. I'm sad that the Empire invaded it because I would love to go there on vacation sometime. Very tropical. Kind of reminded me of, like, the Caribbean or something. But it's just so cool to see these original trilogy Star Destroyers, TIE Fighters, all these ships that a lot of Star Wars fans grew up watching on the big screen now back again. It's amazing. I love the space battle. And I love the battle on the ground. Like I said, this film has an amazing third act. Did anybody else catch the ghost from Rebels? The freaking ghost is in this movie. I noticed that in theaters. I was like, is that the ghost? Turns out, yeah. That is the ghost. It is confirmed that Hera Syndulla fought in this battle. You also hear at one point on Yavin 4, you hear them calling for General Syndulla. And Chopper is even in this. Chopper, the droid from Rebels, he's in the movie. For about 2 seconds, he's blinking, you'll miss him, but he's there. I just love little references to that. You know, it makes the whole Star Wars universe feel more expansive. Like, oh yes, Rebels actually does count. Side note, Rebels is fantastic. You guys should watch that if you haven't yet. So I've gushed about the third act. Now let's talk about some things that aren't as great. The first 2 acts, they're not the best. The first act, I was watching this movie and I'm like, we're 14 minutes in and we're already on our 42nd planet. Like, we jump from planet to planet to planet to planet to planet, never getting a chance to actually breathe. And I'm like, okay, it's efficient, it's getting through the story fast, but I'm not connecting with anything here. And that's my main problem with Rogue One, is the fact that I don't connect with any of the main characters. I don't really care about a lot of them all that much. I mean, we get maybe one line apiece to tell us who we should care about and where they come from, but I don't care about anyone on a personal level. You know, I like Chirrut Imwe because I think he's a badass. He's a blind Force, I can't say Force wheeler. He's a believer in the Force, you could say, and he's blind, and he's badass. I like him a lot. But I don't care anything about his character. I don't know what he's about or what his character is. I don't know where he comes from. Same thing with Baze. Same thing with Bodhi. Bodhi is the worst character in this film because his characterization is literally just, oh, he's a pilot. That's his one characteristic. Are you the pilot? I'm the pilot. You're the pilot. I am the pilot. That's it. You're just an Imperial pilot, and then you get blown up at the end. Jin and Cassian are definitely the two that the film tries to focus most on. Cassian, I think, gets a few lines to, like, explain where he comes from. I've been in this fight ever since I was 6 years old. Like, okay, let's, go down that rabbit hole a little bit. Let's talk more about where Cassian came from. And I think we're going to get that in the upcoming Cassian and K2SO Star Wars series coming to Disney Plus here soon. But that doesn't help me in the film itself. That's other information. I shouldn't have to watch a TV series to understand why I should care about a character in a self-contained film. Now, it does help, but I shouldn't have to do that. It's like the Clone Wars. I shouldn't have to watch the Clone Wars television series to understand why Anakin falls to the dark side so quickly in Episode 3. Now, watching the Clone Wars helps that, and it makes Episode 3 tolerable, more tolerable, actually, in my opinion, but I shouldn't have to do that. And that's the same problem I have here with Rogue One. I shouldn't have to watch a Cassian-focused series to care about him in a self-contained film. Jin, by far, gets the most backstory and whatnot. She's okay. I don't really care much for Felicity Jones's acting. She does the best that she can. Still not great, though. K2SO is by far my favorite character in this film. The droid's hilarious. And I'm excited to see that Alan Tudyk is coming back for the Cassian and K2SO mini-series that's coming to Disney Plus soon. Very happy for that. Director Orson Krennic is also kind of I like Ben Mendelsohn's performance in this. I liked Krennic as a villain. I just wish he would have had more to do. Wish he would have interacted more with our main heroes and whatnot. I know everyone's going to ask me to comment on the whole Grand Moff Tarkin bringing Peter Cushing back from the dead. Yeah, it looks weird. I'll admit it. When I first saw it in theaters, I was blown away by it, like, hey, Peter Cushing's dead, but they brought him back. But now, looking at it here in 2019, with a more renewed and fresh perspective, I was like, yeah, this does kind of look like a really, really impressive PS3 graphic. It doesn't look real. It's still impressive that they were able to do it, and as well as they did, it just needed to look more real, because, you know what, not even PS3 graphic, it looked like straight up EA's Battlefront 2, to me. The way that those characters' mouths and faces move. And it's still strange to me to think that Tarkin gets more screen time than Darth Vader. When Darth Vader wears a mask, you could have anybody play Darth Vader. I don't even think it was David Prowse that was in the suit for the 2 scenes that Vader is on screen. But for Tarkin, that must have been way more expensive than putting Vader on the screen. I'm not knocking Vader here, though. I think Vader was used well. I just wish we'd have seen more of him. Of course, the scene at the end, which lasts 30 seconds, where he's killing all those rebels in the hallway, is the best scene in the film. It is a little bit jarring, though, to see Vader get so limber and is able to kill as many rebel troopers with just his hand and whatnot, then jump straight to A New Hope, where he and Obi-Wan are fighting like 2 stiff old men. I just find that a little weird. Also, I think at one point, he stops a laser bolt with his hand and forces it to turn around and hit another rebel. I don't know if what I saw was that, but it sure looked like that. It looked like a straight Force Unleashed move, and it was awesome. I also love when he has the rebel pinned up against the roof and he pulls the blasters out of the other rebel's hands and then just cuts the one that he's got pinned up against the roof in half, like, oh, forgot about you. Whoops, you're dead. When I first saw that in the theater, I felt bad for smiling. It's like, I'm rooting for these guys to die, but it's just so cool. Oh, another character that came back, Saw Gerrera. Yeah, Saw was from the Clone Wars, if any of you all watched that show. I did. He's from the Clone Wars, and he's alright. Forrest Whitaker could have, not wheezed so much in his performance. Jin, did you come here to kill me? There's not much of me left. Yeah, it was a weird performance. You watch Rebels, you get a little bit of a sense of what happened to Saw and why he's like half machine now and needs a breathing mask that sounds like Darth Vader for some unexplained reason. He could have been used better, and I wish he didn't just stand in a doorway and die. He wouldn't feel so useless then. So all in all, I don't hate Rogue One. It's a very disjointed film that doesn't have a lot of character to it. But man, does that final act make you feel so good. When you leave the theater or leave your room after it's over, that third act, man, it is just the best. It was the best this film could have given us. I just wish we would have got more memorable characters and whatnot. You know, this is why you see, like, Jyn Erso or Orson Krennic collectibles like Pops going on clearance. Because nobody wants these characters. No one remembers these characters, and that's unfortunate. So I'm going to give Rogue One a very mild recommend. Not a weak one, but not a strong one either. Just a plain old recommend, because I don't feel that this film is anything too special. However, I still think that you should probably check it out if you're keen to see it, if you haven't already. I will, however, give the movie props for how it ends. Other than the fact that the climax is fantastic, I kind of like the fact that they kill everyone. Why do I like that? Well, it's because that works out in the grand scheme of the original trilogy, so there's no one asking, hey, why is Jyn not in episode 6? Well, she's dead. They're all dead. They all don't make it out alive, and that's one of the great tragedies of war, especially in a war in space, or a war down here on Earth. Not everyone makes it out alive, and this time around, none of them did. And I kind of like that. Side note, before I move on, I remember when Rogue One first came out, and I didn't go to a Thursday night showing, like a lot of my friends do. I went to a Friday night showing. And when I got to school that day, there were two of my friends sitting behind me in class, and one of them had seen it, the other one hadn't. And the one who hadn't seen it said, well, how exactly does it end? Like, he wanted to be spoiled for some odd reason. And I turn around and go, oh, everybody dies. Like, jokingly. Keep in mind, I had not seen the film at this point. I guessed the ending. I inadvertently spoiled it for that friend without even seeing the movie. Because I thought they'd never do it. That's just what I say for every movie that comes out. Like, oh, so-and-so dies. Or I say, like, Han Solo dies. Like, when Infinity War came out, I was like, oh yeah, Han Solo dies. Because it's just stupid. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Same answers as number 1, really. Target or Best Buy. And number 5, what price should you pay? For the Target exclusive version, pay whatever they're asking. That thing is awesome. I love that Target exclusive. For the standard Blu-ray, though, and DVD combo pack, not all that rare. $5, maybe 10 at most. If you want the special holiday slipcover version with the Forces of Destiny DVD disc, I don't know. That one's not all that common, so 15 to 20 for that. Target, pay whatever they want. Unless it's over $20. $20 is a little bit extensive for the Target one. Hell, you know what? Maybe 25. Just don't go over 25 for that. But if you don't have it and you want it, find it, because it's great. And then for the most recent reissued Blu-ray, just pay the store price. I think it's like $22 right now. That's not bad. So that is my home media review for Rogue One. I'm kind of surprised to see how many people have turned on this film since it hit theaters. And to be honest, I've kind of done the same thing. I don't really love it anymore. I think it's fine. It could have been way better, but I don't love it. And that kind of sucks, because I loved it when it first came out, and now I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's fine. Third act is fantastic, but the rest of the film kind of falls flat. Oh boy, next week is the kicker. This is it, guys. Next week is the home media review for The Last Jedi. I can already hear the fanboys suddenly crying out in terror. Do you hear that? They're saying, Rian Johnson ruined Star Wars. And then the other half of the fandom is saying, Rian Johnson fixed Star Wars, you SJW liberal cucks. We'll see where I stand next week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, good night, everybody.